Hello and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our live event on Facebook advertising for small business. My name is Sean, and I'll be your host this afternoon, and we've got a good one for you today. And today's event is brought to you in partnership with the City of Glendora, and here to help us get things started right, the mayor from Glendora, Mayor Friedendahl. Mr. Mayor, how are you doing today?
Great, Sean. Thank you very much. And to our viewers, thank you and welcome to Glendora. Glendora is so pleased to be a part of this valuable opportunity to partner with the Small Business Development Center of California and the Los Angeles Network, along with the University of La Verne, to help small businesses become more viable and successful in our communities. As Glendora has made an economic development strategic goal as one of our 2025 to 2027 strategic plans, this collaboration to work, learn, and develop to attract businesses to invest in Glendora and neighboring communities is very critical. This work will help businesses become more successful in their hopes and dreams, help cities grow and work together to meet the needs of each party, and to ensure that the successes we and ensure the successes that you all seek. I expect this session will provide new tools and information to frame those future efforts and to be just the beginning of the many opportunities to help you develop your successes. Thanks for making the time to invest in your success, and I know you will find the workshop most beneficial. Back to you, Sean.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and it's a pleasure to be here alongside you, your entire economic development team, to bring these resources to local small businesses. And well, I'm excited to get right into it. So, without further ado, we're talking about everyone's favorite today, social media, and specifically Facebook advertising. And well, as I mentioned, my name's Sean, and I'm a digital certified expert through Meta, which used to be Facebook. But I also work with the University of La Verne Small Business Development Center, and I use Facebook ads to market our program services to the local community, and it works. And I'm really excited to share with you how it works. So we've got a very straightforward agenda for you today, and that's to first talk about some of the requirements to running Facebook ads, along with some resources to help you get up to speed quickly. Aside from that, we're going to get right into it and talk and actually demonstrate how to create your own Facebook ad, because it can be a little intimidating at first, but we're going to go through that hands-on, or live, I should say. That's always fun. And then we're going to kind of practice what we preach. We're going to look at some analytics for a Facebook ad that we ran to market this workshop. So with the hopeful outcome being that you walk away with the basics and an understanding of Facebook advertising and discover the resources to help you, run campaigns effectively. So without further ado, let's jump right into those requirements. And I will say there's three main requirements when we're talking about, Facebook advertising. And the first one is going to be, having a Facebook business page for your business. So in order to have a Facebook business page, you have to have a personal page. And so here you've got on screen, my personal page and then the business page that I've created for the University of La Verne, SBDC. You may not know it, but once you create a business page, you automatically have an Ads Manager account. We're going to show you how to access that as we demonstrate or we demo the ad creation process. And then the third thing, and I've got my disclaimer at the bottom of the screen that says it's not technically required, but this pixel, or what's now called a data set, needs to be installed on your website or where the conversion is taking place. Now, my disclaimer at the bottom of the screen is that, technically you don't need it to run a Facebook ad, but in my experience, working with businesses over the years, they usually want to track sales. And so that will necessitate the need for a pixel, which is a little piece of code that'll be installed on your website to help track visitors who see your ad and then take an action on your website. Now, I've got this hyperlinked, and we're going to share the link to the slides in the stream or in the chat. But this is a little outside of our scope today, but in terms of installing the pixel on your website, because primarily you're going to have a lot of different websites out there, from Shopify to Squarespace to WordPress, and they'll all be a little bit different. So we have your back, though. We've got free consulting. We're going to talk a little bit about later on in the broadcast how to get signed up. so you can effectively get your pixel installed on your website if you're going to be running Facebook ads, so that you can track this stuff. But in a nutshell, it's going to boil down to, installing an app or a plugin or a widget into your website, and then creating a pixel with your Facebook Ads Manager, and then putting the number on your website. So it's not really hard. There's some instructions here, but we'll be talking a little bit later on in the broadcast about how to essentially get that set up for you, or get set up for free consulting, sorry. But aside from the big three, the next areas of requirements I usually tell clients is they're pretty common sense, but we're going to need a budget and a payment method. So a budget and a credit card. Now, I like Facebook ads because you can usually get away with a very low budget, really. They're really cost effective. I mean, even as low as like $100, we can start to really explore, what we can get and get you familiar with how to run these ads and how to use them. So aside from that, I would say a familiarity with a graphic design software, something like Canva or Poster My Wall, because really what we're going to do is we're going to put a picture or a video or image in front of our target audience and in those placements, there are going to be different sizes. So we're going to need to create something that looks visually appealing, that attracts our customers' attention. But then depending on the placement of whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or Messenger, each one of those placements may be a slightly different size. Maybe one's square, another one's rectangle. So these tools can help you kind of resize your image quickly and easily. But aside from that, it's going to be knowing your target audience. And by knowing, I mean, their interests, their demographics, or their behaviors. Facebook advertising is really cool because we can leverage the power of Facebook or Meta to really get in front of the audience that we're trying to speak to with our products and services. And we're going to take a look at that in the demonstration process. And last but not least is a clear call to action. What's the one thing that we want our customer to do when they see our ad? Our picture, our paragraph, and our call to action. What is that? Is it shop now? Is it sign up? Is it get a quote? Or in our case, for our demonstration, we're going to be marketing an upcoming workshop that we have. So it's going to be sign up now or sign up. But these are some of the requirements that you're going to want to, take a look at. And if you're thinking, Sean, this is a lot, you're not, you're right. And when I first started doing Facebook advertising, I found this resource called LinkedIn Learning extremely beneficial. And it's available to you for free through the Glendora City Library under their Train and Learn section. So if we go over to the city website, you can go up to Explore here on the top menu item, and then down to eLibrary. That's going to take us right to the picture I had on the screen. We're going to go to Train and Learn. And then down here, we have LinkedIn Learning. Now, LinkedIn Learning is a premium. It's usually it costs money to get access to it. But if you log into it this way with your library card information, you can get access to it for free. And I love this resource because it's great. For example, in our situation, we want to learn about Facebook advertising. So I can type in Facebook advertising, and they have a ton of courses on the topic, marketing on Facebook, advanced Facebook advertising. That's going to be part 2 of this one down here. This is going to be an hour-and-a-half course for beginners and intermediate individuals. It was even updated 3 months ago, so they keep them really up to date. But it's basically
Facebook is a part
video.
of
I'll call it like YouTube University, but taught by industry professionals. Not that there aren't industry professionals on YouTube, but these are vetted instructors that are going to break down these topics in small bite-sized video format. I'm a big believer, if I can see it done, feel like I have a better chance of doing it myself. And it's going to educate you along the process in this video, like small video formats. But it doesn't matter if it's Facebook advertising for our Facebook ads, or like I mentioned, you might need some familiarity with something like Canva. There's a ton of courses here to help you in your learning process, depending on where you're at with your business. So I couldn't help but want to share this right out of the gates, because today's event, we're going to go over it pretty fast. I'm not going to lie. We're going to throw a lot of stuff at you, but of the stuff, it's going to be good resources to come back to. So I wanted to kind of share that one with everybody as we get started. This is a great resource that's going to go much more in detail in some of the areas that we're going to kind of go quickly through. Now, the next thing is going to be that heart-to-heart conversation with the person in the mirror, i.e. yourself, of is this a do-it-yourself project or is this a hire it out? And even if it is a hire it out kind of project, it's important. I always encourage business owners to try it themselves because it's going to help you have better communication and dialogue and set expectations with even the vendors that you're working with. So just keep that in mind. But if you do hire it out, keep in mind that you're going to pay a portion of your budget to the setup and the management of your campaign. And usually I'd say 15 to 30%. Let's say you have a budget of $1,000 that you want to spend to market your business, but you're going to hire it out. So 15 to 30% of that, or $300 or $150, is going to go to somebody to set it up and manage your campaign. Whereas the 700 or 850 is actually going to go to paying to put that ad in front of other people. So just keep it in mind and be real with yourself. Where there's a will, there's a way. Where there is no will, there is no way. So we got to, think about our time, our talent, and our treasure in terms of making this decision. But it's an important one. And we encourage you to try it yourself. So, and in doing so, we're going to demo it. We're going to try to practice what we preach. And so we're going to go to the Facebook Ads Manager interface. And, I usually just go to Facebook, facebook.com/ads manager, or you can go to adsmanager.facebook.com. But it doesn't matter how you get there. The two things I tell clients when they're kind of entering into this interface, it's intimidating, let's be honest. There's a lot of fine print and a lot of things and buttons. But what I always say is make sure you're in the right account. So I'm going to make sure I'm in my business account for the ULV SBDC. And the other thing is sometimes people will say, Sean, where's all my data? Well, over here, we want to make sure we're looking at the right time frame for our ads. But pretty much what I learned from the course on LinkedIn Learning was everything that we're looking at, all this down here is just prior ads that we've run. Really what it's about is this tab right here, here, and here. And they're not very prominent, but one says campaigns, one says ad sets, and one says ads. Now, the campaign is our objective, the why. Why are we doing this? And coupled with, how much are we spending? The ad set is the who we're targeting, the where we're going to place this kind of aspects to our ad. And then the ad itself is the picture, the paragraph, and the call to action that we're hopefully going to put in front of somebody to take the action that we want them to do. So this terminology of campaign, ad set, and ad also transcends to a lot of other platforms like Google, Pinterest, TikTok, LinkedIn. So even starting with Facebook ads, a lot of the learning that we're going to acquire will help us, even if we choose to go to a different platform, because that'll be towards the end when we get to analytics. Is this the right platform for us? And how can we get our costs down? But this is kind of the interface, and it's a little intimidating. So that's where that LinkedIn Learning course will kind of walk you through. But what we want to do today in our demonstration is we want to market an upcoming webinar that we have called How to File an LLC. And we're going to be doing this next week. And as I started out the requirements, we have a pixel that we've installed on this website. And I've got this MetaPixel helper up here in the top of my browser because I'm using Chrome that will tell me that, yes, there's a pixel on this website and here's the number. We'll want to use that number to make sure that we're using the right pixel to track traffic, essentially with someone who sees the ad, clicks on sign up, that we'll get to in a second, comes to this website and actually completes the sign up application and gets to that confirmation page. This is what tracks it. This is what reports back to Facebook to say, hey, you got someone to sign up. Congratulations. So this is the MetaPixel helper to help you make sure that your pixel is working correctly. And we've got it installed. So we're going to hop back over to our ads manager and we're going to click the big green button that says create. And we're going to jump right into the ad creation process. And the first thing that we have to decide is, what is our campaign objective? And there's a lot of different options here to choose from engagement to leads to app promotion. But what we want is we want people to sign up. And in Facebook advertising terms, that's referred to as a conversion. As I hover over this, you can see it says get people to add an item to their cart, make a purchase, start a subscription, or take another action on your website or app. So sales is probably what most people are going to be after, but there are other campaign objectives to pick here, but we're going to go with that. And then we're going to drop into what I call the the Facebook ad wizard. It's going to walk us through those three tabs that we saw on the last screen, but instead of being horizontal, like we saw, now they're vertical. We have campaign, ad set, and ad. And so the first thing we have to do is give our campaign a name. So I'm just going to say how to file an LLC. We might give it a date. Let's say the 2025. The campaign details is the auction, and we already picked the objective being sales. So now we're going to start to go through these sections and explain them at a high level. So advertising plus catalog sales will be if someone has an e-commerce store where you have a catalog of products on your Shopify store, and you want to then basically create an ad of a carousel, or where you can swipe left and right of all the different products. We can bring in our catalog into Facebook to be able to do those type of ads. But since we're just doing a workshop, I'm going to leave that off. The next category is budget, and we have two options here. We can do a daily budget or a lifetime budget. I'm going to go with lifetime budget because my workshop is going to be on the 7th, but I only want to run the ad for let's say a week before. And let's say I'm going to spend $200 to market this ad. A/B testing is a little bit more advanced kind of for our conversation today, but essentially creating two of the exact same ad with one difference, whether that be a different picture, a different call to action button, or maybe a different copy, just one slight difference to see, okay, which one does better. Now, Facebook has a lot of advertising creative options that will work in different, different creatives to be able to see which one was performing better. But I'm going to leave it off because I want to keep it simple for right now. Another more advanced area is audience segment reporting. In a nutshell, if we want, we can use the pixel and create custom audiences over here to tell Facebook, hey, these are the people who visited my website, so let's call them engaged audience. These are the people who visited my website and checked out or completed a purchase, so let's call them existing customers. So if we wanted to run an ad targeting new or existing customers, we could allocate more of a budget towards that objective. But for right now, we're just going to leave that as is. It's just kind of letting us know we could do that. Now, this last piece of the puzzle here on the campaigns tab is the special ads category. And so anything that has to do with financial products, employment, housing, social issues, elections, or politics has to undergo an additional level of scrutiny. So we have to tell Facebook, hey, yes, we may be, talking about a job with this particular post, and it will limit our options in terms of being able to target people because there's certain rules around it. But for us, we're just going to be doing a workshop on how to file an LLC. It would not fit into any of those buckets. But if it does, when you submit your ad for approval, Facebook will be reviewing it to make sure it's not in one of those buckets, and they may deny your ad if they feel it is. So you might have to appeal it. But that's pretty much it for this campaign section. It's pretty straightforward. There's a lot of text going on, but we just went through it, and we're identifying, our objective is sales, our budget is $200, and we're not in a special ad category. That's pretty much it. So we'll go ahead and hit next. And now we're going to drop into what they refer to as the ad set. And we're going to go through these one by one. But first, we need to give it a name. So I'm going to say how to file an LLC. Let's see, May 7th, 2025. Now, there's different naming conventions you would probably want to throw in here. And we'll see later on as we add the details to who we're targeting so we can reuse this ad set. You see the button here to create as a template. But for right now, I'm just going to call it, these are more internal naming convention or names so that no one who sees the ad is going to see this. It's more for me running the ad. But the first thing it's going to ask is, okay, conversion. Where is this conversion happening? As I mentioned, it's happening over here on this website. So I got to tell Facebook, hey, it's happening on a website. Our goal is to maximize the number of conversions. The data set, you can have a lot of data sets or what they used to call pixels. So I have to pick the right pixel. And this is where having that meta pixel helper will really help you make sure you're picking the right pixel. So 0059, does match the pixel on the website that we had over here. You can see now with the pixel 0059. Okay, good. So aside from identifying the pixel, now we have to pick the conversion event. And so I'm going to go with out of the box, we have all these different ones, but I'm just looking for a complete registration. I want to see when somebody gets to that thank you page that says, thank you for signing up for our workshop. That will then inform the pixel to report back to Facebook, we have a conversion. So next, we're not going to talk about this, but depending on your platform or where the conversion happens, you may be able to set up a conversions API, which is an additional way to increase, the number of conversions, basically giving Facebook more data on the visitors of your website. But I'm going to skip over that for now. The cost per result goal, this is optional. You can add, like say, oh, I only want to spend a certain amount per, sign up. But we identified the budget in the last section, and now we need to identify the schedule because we said a lifetime budget. So today's April 30th. I'm probably going to run this, let's say, tomorrow, May 1st, and I'll start this at 8 a.m. And I'm not going to run it until May 31st because the event's on the 7th. I'm going to stop it the day before because I want people to have time to see it and sign up. And let's say, I don't know, let's go 5 p.m. I don't know. So that's the schedule. You can add other, scheduling parameters. Like if you only want to run it basically between 8 and 2 p.m., you can do that. I generally leave it open to let Facebook serve it up to customers or to users when they think they're gonna engage. But now we get into more of the power of Facebook, to be honest, the audience. Remember on that first slide, I talked about, know your customer, their interests, their demographics, their behaviors. Well, now we get to tell Facebook, hey, this is who we're after. And so first, we want to control who sees the ad, and it's defaulting to the entire United States. But if I'm a local business in Glendora, I probably want to stay local. So I can type in a location like Glendora and wait for it to come up. Glendora, California, it's a city. If I select it, it's going to do a geographic radius of 25 miles around Glendora. I might want to tighten that up a little bit, and as low as you can go is 10 miles. Now, it's going to focus on that area. It may go outside if, Pasadena's technically outside of 10 miles. People may see it, but that's where we're telling Facebook, hey, this is where we deliver our service. So we want to, focus on people around here because maybe it's in person and somebody in the East Coast wouldn't be able to attend. But that's our location. It's pretty powerful, so we're going to go with that. Now we want to add our audience. This is really cool. So we're going to say 18 to 65, but we can target based on age if there's a particular target audience that you want to consider, gender, but really it's all here. It's under this detailed targeting. And we can browse by demographics, interests, and behaviors. So let's say we had a tutoring business. And we want to, we tutor children who are in, I don't know, 5th grade, whatever age that might be. So it's going to be probably targeting parents of children of a certain age. So we can go to demographics. We can go to parents. Under all parents, now we can start to say, okay, parents of children up to 12 months, adult children, 18 to 26, parents with parents with early school age children, 6 to 8 years old. I can't remember when my son or daughter was in 5th grade, but it sounds about right. So we can start to really dial in terms of who we are targeting. And as I hover over this stuff, you'll see I can. These are parents, people who are likely to be parents with preschoolers. Okay, great. Now, another way, as opposed to going that way, we can just search a keyword. So I can type in small business like you saw there, and I can target people who have job titles that are small business. Or, and over here, as I hover, you can see the little fly-in window, people who list their job titles as small business in their Facebook profile. Schools, people who list their school as small business or fields of study. I'm probably going to go with interests. So people who have expressed an interest in or like pages related to small business or perhaps entrepreneurship. And as you see, as I select, you saw this kind of, flash for a second because we don't want our audience definition to be too broad or too narrow. Green is good, basically. And whenever you see Facebook recommend suggestions, take a look at them because they're probably doing that based on a lot of data. And if you implement the recommendations, they will usually give you the more results that you're looking for. So I'll probably just go with, I don't know, a small business and entrepreneurship, uh, interest in terms of stuff like that. So two fields that kind of say, okay, that's who I'm after. People who are within 10 miles of Glendora. There's, a certain age or gender. I'm keeping that open, and their interest in small business and entrepreneurship. Don't get too far down in the weeds because you will start to see it go too narrow. I did the 10-mile thing, which is great. But if you try to do like zip codes, like a specific zip code, sometimes it can be a little narrow. You could still do it, but your cost per acquisition might be a little higher. Now, lastly, on the ad set section is placements. Facebook has a ton of different placements, and we're going to show you those in a second. So I usually leave this by default, Advantage Plus on. But if you wanted to only run your ad on Instagram, you can do that, and you can edit your placement controls the same way. I usually want to get the most visibility as possible, so I leave all placements on because I'm going to let Facebook determine, and I use Facebook and Meta interchangeably. I'm going to let Meta determine where the placement is yielding the most results. So that is the last part of the ad set. And now we're on to the fun part, the ad itself. So we got to give it a name like we did the other ones. Let's see, how to file an LLC. May 7th, 2025. If we were running an ad in partnership, this is kind of a new thing. We can, identify who we're running ads with. We have to give it our ad and identity. So I have a Facebook page, but I do not have an Instagram account. So I can connect that, or I can still run, ads on Instagram without an Instagram account. But if someone taps that icon for the identity, it's going to come to my Facebook page. So they're gonna be like, oh, they're old. If it's a kid or younger demographic, the cooler ones. But we got to give it an identity. That's going to be the page that's running it. Now we have to set up the ad, and we can create an ad on our own, which we're going to do here, or if we have a post that we want to use, or the Creative Hub is another area in Face or Meta Business Suite where you can have other people draft up stuff for you to then pull into your ads. We're going to create it ourselves. So the creative source is going to be a manual upload. And the format I'm going to go with is just a single image or video. You have other things like carousels or collections, which is more of the grouping of these cards that you can swipe through. Like if we had, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 workshops coming up that I wanted to include in this ad, and each one went to its own respective landing page, I could have a different card, basically, that people would market all of them. But each call to action would go to the respective sign-up page. So I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to run a single image. Now the ad creative is just another way of them saying the image. Creative. We have to get creative here. So we're going to go image. And now it pops up this setup window, I would say. Here I've identified some branding because now AI is part of everything, right? We're all used to seeing it. But with AI, we have to inform it in terms of some like our text tone. We want it to be professional, educational, and helpful. Our visual style is clean, simple, and effective. We have to basically inform the bot or the artificial intelligence that Meta is using to tell them, hey, this is kind of who we are. We're not fun and playful, we're professional. So they're going to use those words to help inform some of the copy that we're going to see here. So I'm going to kind of minimize this or get it out of the way. We can add some additional site links. So in addition to our ad, sign up today or see more, other things like that. But next, we're going to go next, and we're going to pick an image to start with. And so this is the image that we created already for our flyer for our event next week. I'm going to select that as the starting point. And you can see we got square, we have vertical, and we have horizontal. Well, this horizontal looks like it almost fits, so I'm just going to hit crop and move that around so it probably looks a little better, because looks are very important. If it looks weird, you're probably not going to click on it. You want it to look very appealing to someone to go, hey, what's that? Let me click that to learn more about, well, how to file an LLC. Where does it take me? Now, I can't do the same thing. I can't just crop because then it's going to start bleeding outside of the little area here. So I have to actually go into my Canva or my graphic design software and just resize it to make it 1:1 or 9:16. So I've already done that to kind of expedite our learning process here, but you can see that now it's going to look a little bit different. So you're going to have to kind of adjust things around and make things bigger or smaller. But let me go ahead and do that for the vertical one. Like I think I had to add like some text. So now I've got like free webinar Wednesday, April 30th, 2 to 3 p.m. Okay, I gotta update that. It's supposed to be May 7th. So before I publish this, let's go ahead and hit next. Now, this is where, so that's the picture. The other areas of the ad are going to be like I said, picture, paragraph, call to action. This is more of the paragraph stuff. So here we've got primary text, we've got headline, and we have description. And so we're going to go over to our good friend ChatGPT or Gemini, whichever artificial intelligence you choose to use, and we are going to tell the computer essentially who to be first. So I'm going to copy and paste this. This that says, can you act as an expert Facebook ads consultant as you reply to my questions? And it's going to say, of course, Sean, I'm here to help. Tell me, what can I help you with? Well, I'm going to say, I'm doing this webinar. I'm offering a webinar on May 7th called How to File an LLC to Help Business Owners Understand How to Form an LLC in California. The workshop's going to be focused on A, B, and C. And I'd like you to create the primary text and headline description for me to encourage entrepreneurs to sign up. And voila. Now, the rule with Facebook or AI is you're going to really need to review. You need to review it, and you don't put anything into the model that is personally identifiable. So all that's generic information, no names, addresses, etc. But now I have some pretty good copy, they call it in marketing terms, to work with for the primary text. Thinking about starting an LLC in California? Well, join us for our webinar on May 7th to learn exactly how, so forth. So I can copy that and I can take it over to here and I can paste it. And as I paste it, you see it pop up. Now Meta is using their AI model to come up with other variations. And then we can select these variations if they fit our liking in terms of tone and text and what it's saying. So to review it, but then Meta can see which one of these is working better than the other. But let's go ahead and grab that headline, free webinar, how to file an LLC in California. Looks good, straight and to the point. Write a short headline. There you go. Same kind of thing. We can apply all. We can, California Biz Made Easy. Okay, let's say I don't like that one. I can generate more to see what it comes up with. Start your California LLC today. Okay, sure. And then last but not least is that description. Let's go ahead and grab the description. Learn how to start and maintain your LLC in California the right way. Live step-by-step guidance included. Okay, looks good. So, and now we have our call to action. And we have a bunch to pick from. I always have a toss-up between learn more or sign up now. I lean towards sign up now because I want to really tell the person when they click that button where they're going to be going. They should expect to go to a registration page. So, but this is where sometimes you have to Google it, which one's better, and then read some articles to go, oh, learn more tends to get more clicks, kind of like the psychology of colors and stuff like that, like all that stuff. But I'm gonna hit next because now we've built the ad, really. Now they have some other image generation stuff that they're testing out. I think sometimes they look a little creepy, to be quite honest. I don't know if it's gotten there just yet, so I'm gonna skip the image generation, but there are some enhancements, and they will automatically do these creative touch-ups or creative improvements to add music or visual touch-ups and stuff. So most of those, if they're on, I'll look at them. Yeah, that looks cool. So it's kind of engaging. And let's click done. Now we have created the ad. Now, the only part that we didn't do together was actually creating the Canva image and then resizing it. But we are still, even when we do that, we're still going to need to do some tweaking, so to speak. Because you saw my score go down from 100 to 93. And if I had to guess, it's probably because certain ad placements might do better with video. So let's see here. If I click this little plus down, says You could increase conversion by using both videos and images for one ad set. Okay, so that's where if we click on this advanced preview button, we're going to see what I mentioned earlier, all the different placements. And Facebook and Meta has a lot of them, from Instagram stories and Facebook stories to video feeds to Explore. So these are all the ads that now we've been able to develop. These are called placements. So if that recommendation was, let's say, for a Facebook story, they're saying use video. Okay, well, we can exit out of this. If we scroll down, we can find where is it? The one for Facebook stories, Instagram stories, probably this one. All right, click the three dots and hit edit placement. And here you can already see, like, these are the safe zones. I probably want to bring this down, and I'm kind of okay here in terms of the text or the image, but I want to replace this and make this a video. And I've already done that in Canva, and all I did was take my image and then animate it, make it go kind of like, well, you'll see here in a second when I add it. I just made the text kind of appear as opposed to just a still image. Now that in and of itself is going to be more engaging, but like I probably need to bring it down some outside of these little yellow boxes, because this is kind of where text may be for my logo. So I'll hit save, and you'll probably see my score. Yep, it bumped it up to 98. I like how they try to gamify this stuff. But now I'm probably going to need to do that with the other placements as well. So I won't bore you with that. And that's what they're telling me here. Text on your video may be covered by your profile icon or call to action. So, you might want to look at that. So when they make these recommendations, I would, look at them. Take it over to Google. If I'm not really sure what they're saying here, I would say, I'd go over here, take it to chat and be like, what does this mean? Oops. Let's see here. I didn't paste it in there in time, but you try to explore, like, okay, what are they trying to tell me here, and how can I fix it? So as we scroll down past all of the stuff that we did in that pop-up window, now we get down to destination. And this is where we need to add the URL that we want to send people to. If we didn't add it already, I think I skipped over it. So I'm going to plug that in, because if I'm running an ad, I want to make sure I'm sending people to the right location. Okay, good. Because that's going to really help improve my conversions. You may see, I don't know if you can see it here, where it says lasbdcnet.com. If I wanted to change that display link to something like lavernesbdc.org, I could type that in, and then now it'll update. Now it says lavernesbdc.org to be more in line with my brand, but the link is still the same. So we're not going to have people call us, but if you wanted to add additional kind of calls to actions, you can include those here. Event details, although we do have an event, this is telling me that it's for Instagram, and I need an Instagram account, which I don't have one. So, okay, I can't do that. Languages, I can add my own translations if I wanted to, but the event will be delivered in English, so the ad I want the ad to be in English. And last but not least is the tracking. So again, here we have that pixel that we talked about. We've already installed it on the website where the conversion happens, the sign up happens. So we're good to go, and we're not doing an app or any downloads, and we're not going to talk about URL parameters right now. We're just running a straight Facebook ads, and it's a little bit more advanced topic. But that's the ad creation process, and it can be kind of intimidating as you go through it the first time. But if you're in the middle of it and you want to go, oh, I got to go pick up the kids from school, or I got to go run an errand, you can always hit this X box up here at the top left. They really want to encourage you to publish, and I can publish it now because I'm not scheduled to run it until tomorrow at 8 a.m. So I'll hit publish, but you can hit close and come right back to it. So actually I'll do that. I'll hit close, and there's my ad. So I was working on the ad. So you have ads selected, one ad set, and one campaign. All I have to do is close these to get back to the actual ad itself. And there it is. So let me click on the campaign. And if I want to get back into it, I hover over it and I hit edit, and that brings me right back in. If I'm ready to publish, I can just go ahead and let's go down to the ad to get that publish button, and I can hit publish. Now the publishing it will go into a draft, well, it's in draft, actually, I should say. Let's go ahead. I think I published, it'll go through a learning process. So first it's going to say scheduled or processing. So Facebook is going to review this, make sure that it's not a special ad category, and then they're going to approve it. That takes about a day. Then it's going to go into a learning phase. So you're going to see this change from processing to scheduled to learning, and then to, active, and then completed. So within the learning phase, give it some time. Usually it's going to take 3 to 4 days for Facebook or Meta to figure out, okay, who's engaging with this ad, who can we serve it to, what placement. There's a lot of machine learning or variables involved, but they're really good about getting in front of that right customer. So that leads us to the next conversation, which is analytics. Now, I say we practice what we preach, and so let's take a look at an ad that we ran to market this workshop. So I'm going to change the date range to, this month. Okay, it's already set. And had delivery. Let's see if we can get that to show up here. Okay, so as we talk about analytics, you've got to come into advertising with a goal. And our goal was to get 100 people to register for this workshop. And I knew, based on prior experience marketing our workshops, that we could probably get about 40 people with our regular email marketing, our partners, and our organic social media. So that left me with a gap of about 60. Now, if I want to get those 60 registrations through Facebook advertising, I know it costs me, from prior experience marketing workshops, about $20 to $25 per person to sign up. So $25 times 60 people gave me my budget of $1,500. Now, what we got is this 55, and if you see this little 2 over here, that's signaling that 2 people, Facebook is saying, hey, we feel like 2 people signed up, but we can't prove it due to privacy rules. With OS 14, when it first came out, there was a lot of debate about it, but you could opt out of tracking. So I actually track, or I monitor my ads, and I made sure that I tracked to see who were coming from Facebook, at least when they signed up. I said, how'd you hear about us? So we actually got 65 people to sign up from this ad. So it beat my expectations. Now we spent $1,500, and then Facebook will spend the total amount you give it. So $1,500 divided by 50 or 65 is about a customer acquisition cost of $23 per sign up. Now that's the aha moment for a lot of our business owners, is kind of understanding, okay, how much does it cost me to get a new customer? And if we took, let's say, if we were charging for this event, and we were charging $25 divided by $23 for customer acquisition costs, we have what they refer to in the industry as a ROAS of 1.8, or a return on ad spend. So I know I need to charge at least $20, $25 to cover my cost to acquire these new customers. Now, would that increase my customer acquisition costs? Probably, but we'd have to really dial in with Facebook and finding ways to reduce this cost per result. And it can be done in a lot of ways. Better ad copy, better images, better landing page. There's so many different ways that you can start to strategize about, okay, how do we lower this cost? And how does this cost compare to other platforms to advertise on? Maybe we have a lower acquisition cost on Google Ads or Pinterest or LinkedIn or fill in the blank. This is the whole process that now paid advertising, you start realizing, okay, if I can get someone to sign up for a workshop and charge them $25 and it costs me $23 to get them, okay, now we're talking dollars and cents here. I can make some money, or I can cover my costs, just like business. So I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but you can start to then look at the other charts and do the breakdowns in terms of age, gender, place, or like device. So this is the fun part of advertising, is you really start to see it. So as we go back into now our presentation, there's some other things I want to share with you to help you in this process. One we already talked about, which is the Meta Pixel Helper. It's a Chrome extension that you can add to your browser to, one, make sure that your pixel is firing correctly on your own website, but 2, check out your competitor's website and see if there's a pixel on their page, because that's usually a sign of more of an advanced advertising. So just kind of, seeing what they're doing. The other thing I usually tell folks is to download the mobile Meta Ads Manager mobile app. Say that 5 times fast, because you can start to manage your ads on the go. And I like to see when I'm paying for something, I like to see that results come in. And it's really exciting when I start to see, oh, I'm getting these people signed up because now, the phones are ringing, all sorts of stuff. But on your phone while you're waiting in line at the grocery store or you're watching TV and the commercials come on, I'm checking my ad campaigns to see what's working, what's not. Pause the ad, maybe add more money to it. I'm probably going to do most of the adjustments on the computer, but this is an on-the-go kind of tool to help you see the results coming in real time. Because you're going to be seeing it on your email when people sign up or calling you on the phone. You're going to see it. And this really starts to spur the activity in the business for you to test your processes to really scale your business, if that's what you're trying to do. Now, I mentioned a little bit about competition, and this is kind of a fun one, but it's called Facebook Ads Library. So you could see if, a competitor were also running Facebook ads. So I would just go change this to, you can Google Facebook Ad Library or go to facebook.com/ads/library. Change this to all ads and type in something like, type in your competitor. And I'm just going to say, if I could spell plumbing, I grew up doing plumbing. And let's say this first hit. This is a place you can go to kind of see, okay, what ads are my competitors running or people in my industry? So what call to action are they using? Book now versus get an offer. So this is a cool tool to kind of get inspiration from, to see what others are doing, if it might be, something you can draw inspiration from. I'll just leave it at that. But I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to talk about digital marketing and all this new age, cool digital stuff, with coupling it with your traditional marketing. And I'm a big believer that people buy from people, and your digital marketing or your online marketing should complement your traditional offline marketing, and very much a wax on, wax off kind of way. And so, the biggest advocate I can think of in the region is the Glendora Chamber of Commerce. And if you don't know Joe, I want you to know Joe, because he is a great individual, and the Chamber of Commerce is a great place to go. Whether you might be in the do-it-yourself bucket and you're looking to network, or you might be in the hired out bucket in terms of this campaign stuff, and you want to go to the Chamber to find a partner that can help you with it. The Chamber of Commerce is a great resource, and they've helped us get started many years ago. I won't date myself, but Joe and many others helped us get introduced to the community. And I can't help but, you can't be all one or the other. You really have to blend the new age with the traditional marketing, because, well, it's very relationship in a lot of ways. But I know what you're thinking. There's a lot of questions on your mind. And I want you to walk away with this feeling that you're not alone, this understanding, I should say, that you're not alone. The SBDC is partnering with the City of Glendora and the university to offer you free one-on-one consulting to take your questions and put them into practice of what we've learned here today. So I know there's a lot of questions, and every business is at a different stage. So that's where we offer this consulting, to pair you up with a consultant to talk one-on-one about your strategy and your goals and your budget, about what you're trying to accomplish to hopefully move the needle and move your business forward. So you can, if you're watching this on Zoom, and then you're already a client, all you have to do is give us a call. But if you're watching this on social, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, etc., just sign up at the link on the screen, lavernespdc.org/new client. All our services are free, but by appointment only. We have online appointments and in-person appointments available for you, but we're here to help. And we really appreciate the opportunity to be with you today, to kind of expose you to this world of Facebook advertising as you, explore the idea of growing your business doing this manner. But I'd like to say thank you so much for your time. We hope to see you in the next workshop. But until then, thanks for watching.